the underground! Make madness your ritual!
Oh, shit. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Welcome to Ritual Madness Podcast. Hopefully you're having a good evening. Welcome. Do me a favor, check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, 3500 Minnehaha Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota 55406. Give them a call at 612-353-4755. shoot them an email if you got some design ideas. You want to talk about a design or anything like that, give them a shout, man. lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. Hours Tuesday through Saturday, 12 to 7. They are closed on Sunday and Monday, but I know if they've got a good piece going on, they'll probably open the doors for you and have a good time with you. You know, they're good people like that. Give them a call again. That's 612-353-4755. lowbrowsaints@gmail.com. You know what it is. We are at the Shred Den Studios. So do me a favor, check out Shred Den. Let me see here. Hours here, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 9100 85th Avenue North, Suite 100, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Give them a shout at 763-350-2191. They're all over the Facebooks, YouTube. It looks like Instagram and the old TikTok. I know Rob's wife likes to do some cool TikTok videos of the guitar shop down there. Hit them up at www.theshredden.net. I actually have a new sponsor too, man. Right here, Narwhal Design Solutions. Justin Boney, give him a shout. Hit him up on Facebook, Instagram, and the World Wide Web at Narwhal this is a new one. Narwhal Design Solutions. Justin Boney at gmail.com. Again, Narwhal Design Solutions. If you're looking for a logo, some cool artwork, he's done stuff for Surly, all kinds of beer places, some weed drinks, all kinds of shit. So he's done some really fantastic artwork and just did a new design for us at Ritual Madness Podcast. So thank you again, Justin, for doing that for us. I really appreciate it. Tonight's guest is a friend of mine from a long time ago, I guess here in the Twin Cities. My friend Topper Anthony, he's joining us live from the old L.A. and all that happy shit, right? That's where you're at, right, in L.A.?
Indeed.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing,
yeah. So you had to cut your day a little short for us just to come do the show with us, and I appreciate it, man. I know that it's difficult, especially when you got a lot of shit going on and handling business, dude. But we've been talking about doing this thing for how long now, dude? Like 2 years or some shit?
A bit. Like
maybe
I'll
longer?
have a few beers and like, dude, we got a podcast. Yeah. So I'm happy we're here now.
Yeah, dude.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
I haven't done anything like this for about 10 years, so it's not my thing, but we'll get through it.
yeah, for sure. We had a blast playing tag back and forth, trying to figure out the old Google Meet here. It was a struggle. We were trying to go at a good time, and it just slowly pushed us back. I'm good with it. It's all good as long as we got this thing rocking and rolling. We can hear each other and everything like that. I guess I want to start, dude. I couldn't think of when we first met. I think we talked about it the last time we were on a call together. We were talking about Johnny Weathern, right? John Ramirez.
Right.
And that's how we met, correct?
It's groggy. I met you, I think after one of our shows, and John, that was in the Nakita days, and we were like, well, we're playing some shows, but we're actually looking for a singer, and it even said that on the back of the tape we released. We released 100 of them on cassette.
Yeah.
And we had prospects and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We had shortly talked about, because he mentioned it to you and said, dude, why don't you do this? And there's just a vibe going on where I didn't want to change it at that point. I kind of wish I would have, because it would have been a really more brutal band with you singing.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, anything before that, I mean, I think that was, you were doing Necromus maybe, and we hadn't, and then we just met throughout the years, played the same stages and all this shit.
Yeah.
But we've never even had a beer together,
Yeah.
It's crazy, but
through all the years, yeah. So I guess I want to get some history on you, dude. Like, are you originally from Minnesota? Are you from? Did you move here for a little
Yeah.
while and move? Oh, you are from Minnesota.
Oh yeah. I born in St. Mary's and grew up in North Minneapolis until I was 12, and then I was a northeaster until whenever. Yeah, and until Uptown. I was when I was last there. I was in Uptown the last 7 years of my Minnesota duration.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Was it getting bad yet over in Uptown? Was it start? Were they closing shit yet? Was Chino closed or any of that shit yet?
Oh no, this was Uptown was beautiful then. I mean, up until the Floyd shit, you know. And I'm talking, I left there in December '06.
Yeah.
So no, Uptown was just still fine.
Yeah, it was
You know?
still good. Yeah.
Yeah, nowadays,
yeah,
man,
shit
it's
leaving left and right, dude.
I hope it's getting better. I mean, time has passed a little bit after the Floyd thing, and I I hope it's getting better. My bro still lives right down in there. He did the he went through that shit, like literally went through that shit when it was all rioting and shit, because he had to get to
Yeah.
work over on Hiawatha.
Oh yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah, I got a
stupid.
buddy who's got a tattoo shop. You know, Lowbrow Saints is right over there, and
Okay.
it's I was working for a construction company during that time, and he gave me a call. Jason gave me a call and was asking if I could get big sheets of plywood so they could cover their windows, because everybody's getting their windows busted out over there. But they were sitting outside the shop and around the shop. Everybody was armed in that area. They didn't want their shit busted up, or they kept the neighbors. I mean, I think the guy across the street got some windows busted out, and Jason and all them guys chased him out of there. So it was pretty crazy for a little while over here, but. Yeah, so Topper, let me ask you this, dude. So when you were a kid, man, what was in your aura at the time, like musically? What were your folks listening to, brothers and sisters, things like that? What was tripping your triggers back then? And like as you progressed through music, what were, which direction were you headed, and how, what were the bands that got you to there?
I have a few years on you, my bud. So, I grew up with Motown and the radio always on. No musicians really professionally in my family, but the music was always on, and that's all I remember. That's all I remember. And then really, I don't remember wanting to do anything else either. So I mean, I put the math together. I don't want to really put it out there now, but yeah, I mean, Elvis. I mean, I watched Elvis live on TV.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
And yeah, it's just like always the shows, the cool shows.
Yeah.
And I've always been into a good show, yeah. And then of course Kiss came along into my world, and that threw it all all off. And then up until Van Halen, boom, it threw it off again, and it just kept going.
Now, what about Kiss really tripped your trigger? Because I was a huge Kiss fan as a kid.
Yeah, I remember being at the TV and seeing the Rock and Roll Over cover, the Blade like coming at you, Kiss, like Rock and Roll Over, and like fucking who the hell are these guys, And yeah, I remember that. So I think I actually started on Kiss Live 2.
There you go.
And opened that fucker up and went, mother, what? And then went back to all the others and got all those after that. And this was 78.
Now, Kiss Alive 2, if you had the record, right, when you opened it up, it had that huge, with the whole stage, the flames going up, they're all raised up super high in the air and shit. Yeah. That was fantastic. Yeah. Now I didn't own that record. My first Kiss record was double platinum, so basically like a greatest hits, right? But my buddy one of my very best friends, his mom bought him every single fucking Kiss record, so I got to see all of that shit. My first experience with Kiss was Kiss Alive 1 on A-Track. My uncle had it on A-Track, and that was the first time I'd ever heard it. And dude,
Nice.
the theatrics of all of that, man, I was totally head over heels for that shit, man. It was so much fun. Now
Great stuff.
you say with Van Halen, that was a turning point for you as well, huh?
Well, I was also older, so when I heard "You Really Got Me" in spring '79 ish in the back of my friend's mom's car going somewhere, like what the whoa, even though it's a cover, it's like man. So, and I didn't even own that until 80, 81, 82. You know, after maybe I started working and making my own money or whatever. But yeah, playing the first Van Halen and Van Halen 2 like back to back, just going just bonkers about it.
Absolutely classic records right there, man. Classic records. So
Yeah.
after that point, which direction were you headed? Were you trying to get heavier faster? Or, I mean, where did the when did you start changing from there? What was your trajectory after that? After the Van Halen?
Yeah, I kind of stay with the Van Halen as my favorite, but then, dude, Flight of Icarus, the Iron Maiden came up, and
Oh yeah.
Judas Priest came up, and my first actual concert was Kiss with Judas Priest opening up, and that opened the whole door. The other door that kept slapping me along the years, KK Downing and the Flying V, and like, who are these guys? And they're opening for my favorite band, but that was actually the Dynasty tour, which
I was at that
I
show.
don't do much Kiss. Yeah, I don't do much Kiss after that.
Yeah.
I like the old,
Yep.
true, raw Killer Kiss.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think I love Kiss. I mean, obviously they've been fantastic performers forever, right? But that vibe after Peter Criss and Ace Frehley, you know what I mean? Like that whole original lineup and Dynasty was the last thing that I really like took full interest in, and I seen them multiple times. Like the first time they came back around with the makeup on and shit. I was working at Rockheads downtown St. Paul, and had some of the road crew guys come in there, and we got some backstage passes and shit, and that was fantastic to be able to be right in. Now Paul Stanley flies across the crowd from us, drops on a pedestal right in front of me. Okay, he's got the shattered glass guitar, and he does Love Gun from me to the fucking camera, which is about 15 to 20 feet from me right now. You know what I'm saying? And my childhood. Yeah. Sitting in my buddy's bedroom listening to Love Gun on his stereo just pounding like my childhood. I was sitting there playing with GI Joes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was such a trip at that point. But now when did you start going down the harder path? Like you said, you hit Judas Priest, you hit Iron Maiden. Now, were you in your early? So I want to know, like, when did you start picking up an instrument in that time frame? Did you pick it up when you heard Kiss? Was it picking up when you heard Van Halen?
Yeah, Kiss. My friends were outside, and I set up a bunch of boxes in my room, and I'm hitting them, and they're yelling up at me, "Hey, you get a drum set?" Because I started actually on drums, and took like one lesson. And literally from the guy at B Sharp on Central.
Yeah.
And it was a Saturday morning downstairs. He's smoking and got whiskey breath, and it was like 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and he goes, just do this and do this, and he's smoking, and I'm doing it, and like, I do like a half hour, and my dad took me, and he just said, it's doing good. It's his first time. It's doing good, but whatever. He handed over the cash and we left. And I was like, man, I'm not going back to that guy. The guy kind of creeped me, and I couldn't fucking breathe.
Yeah.
And
With the six
anyway, back to the house thing. I'm playing cardboard boxes. Like, dude, I just got a drum set. Oh, you lie! Like, check it out. And I go back and bang on boxes again. That's hilarious. I never went to drumming again until just later when I got my War Machine and I took out Unit Psychosis and was going to do that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I picked up the Tesco guitar. I think it was even borrowed, and I was 11 or 12, so I started playing then, and I started writing probably immediately, lyric wise, cheesy as heck, I'm sure, but by the time I was 17 or 18, I had a recorded, practiced full song with leads on cassette. Me and my buddy in his basement skipping school.
What was your buddy's name? What's your buddy's name?
You know what? I can't find him, and that's something I wasn't expecting you to ask about. It'll come to me maybe in the next few.
It's all right. Keep thinking about it.
Yeah, but I skipped school and carried my amp, bust my amp over North Minneapolis because I was over Northeast at that time, and we recorded a song called "Pearly White," and you might guess what that's about.
So with when you were writing
to the heavier stuff.
Now let me stop you because I got to ask this question because it's always fascinating to me when someone's writing lyrics. Like, where did you get your inspiration when you were writing lyrics at that age? Now I know you're listening to cool music. You're picking up the obviously. Now I noticed when I was younger, I heard all the lyrics. Before I started even to attempt playing an instrument. That's all I heard. I just heard all the lyrics. It meant so much to me. Like, I connected with so much of the shit. So like, were you actually looking at the structure, or were you writing them down, like getting the ideas from the poems that you're singing and reading and all that shit?
Oh boy, this will continue throughout the conversation, but I write like like a drummer, like even my guitar playing is percussive. So I hate to say it, like wrapped them to myself, but when you get into a lyrical thing and you're just like not rapping, but you're rapping, yeah, and you're just like putting them down and they're rhyming and making them work together and whatever. But always needed to know what the band was saying.
Right.
And that was my whole thing with the whole forgive me, the death metal, really, really brutal vocals.
Yeah.
Like, man, I need the lyrics because I guess I was trained to relate to the sounds, knowing what he's putting out, vocally. And like even now, the stuff I listen to mainly is no singer, lyricless. And it's just instrumental stuff. Yeah. Cyberpunk mixes and anyway, no singers.
Yeah.
And when there's a singer, I want to know the lyrics.
Right.
And because it's like, and no disrespect, by all means, but I consider the vocalist just another instrument.
Yeah.
And when you can't understand that instrument
mm-hmm.
and like be on what they're portraying vocally, it gets tough.
Sure. Now I'm with you on that whole thing because I didn't start out as a death metal singer at all. I actually started out as like, now my what I compared it to, and I just talked to my daughter about this just the other day. I was like, I didn't start as a death metal singer. I started out as like a thrash wannabe type style singer. Like Phil from Sacred Reich was the vocal pattern style, that tone That was the style I
Right.
was going for. And then we did one album like that with a band called Lobotomy that I had way back in the day, like 90, I want to say 89, 90, right around there. And
Right.
these guys wanted to go way heavier, and then we started getting into heavier shit, Slayer and a lot more of the thrash stuff, Sodom and Devastation and Forced Entry and Midas Touch and all these thrash bands, and they were more screamy style. Even if you listen to Exodus and all that other stuff, very very more screamy stuff, and
Right. Right.
these guys wanted to go heavier, and I just wanted to be in a fucking band. So it was like when I went to death metal vocals, if you listen to anything that I've done, it's never been the real cookie cutter shit. Now, when you even live, I've had other vocalists go, "Damn, I could actually understand what you're saying," and that's what I tried to do with the death metal style. When I tried to do it, I tried to enunciate a lot more, which took away from the depth of what the death metal vocal is. You know what I'm saying? It is a lot of gurgle.
Yeah.
It is a lot of but my thing, and just like what you were saying about a percussive use of an instrument and playing an instrument like percussion, I felt like I really kind of adapted to that too. Like I didn't pay attention to a lot of what the guitar shit was going on. It was always bass and drums because those were the dudes that I jammed with right away. You know what I mean? Like we were getting those patterns. So when I started writing shit, it was like that too, man. Trying to get a cadence, a groove to what it was going on. But dude, I wasn't writing for years, man. I don't think that I wrote my first lyric, until like 93, dude. That's a long time. I'd already been in the in the scene since 89, but I wasn't writing at all. I was trying to figure it out. That's why it's always really curious to me how when you're listening to music, how you gather your ideas from that, or do you read stories? Are your things metaphorical? Are they do you write fantasy style stuff when you're writing, when you first started writing? And when did it like change for you as being able to write outside of a personal situation, or has it always been a personal situation for you?
I Yeah, good question. Not always personal, because we all like have visions and dreams and nightmares, and not I think I just write about life and tweak it to where I think it might be either way. It can go either way. Well, is he talking about this, or is he really talking about, you know, himself or whatnot? Um, uh, that's it, man. Yeah, sorry, I'm at a blank. About life, yeah, about life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't mean to cut you off with the story either, though. Here, so you now
All good.
headed towards the heavier stuff. Which bands and which things pushed you towards the heavier stuff? Once you get to, you get to Iron Maiden and you get to things like that. What pushes you towards the things that you started writing and started putting out there? And what was that into your first band?
Metallica come out, and I was over north. I was alone. I got dropped off at this party or something like that, and my ride left. And I have a bottle of wine, and they put on the Metallica album. Uh, it was Ride the Lightning, and they had this huge, home stereo, the big speakers, like 3-foot speakers in their living room. And I was the only one slam dancing to it in the whole party. And they were looking, I had a black trench on, and I had hair, dude. I had hair with black streaks and boots and a black trench, and I'm holding this bottle of wine and I'm slam dancing. And they're like, this guy has needs to leave. But Metallica, of course. But man, I was open to so much weird stuff, like just like Raven and I had my buddy brothers. I grew up with, just like totally open, and one was a bass player, and he would end up with these killer albums and just show me, like, bring them up and like, oh, you know. So I was exposed to just a ton of shit. Um, Going heavier, if you were to ask me about some regrets in life, is like, I regret being a Minnesotan narrow fucker that went just went straight through, instead of, even though I was exposed to a lot of stuff and liked a lot of stuff. I had a vision of what I needed to do, and it kept me kind of narrow with going down other paths, you know, and that sucks, because now I'm in my paths are, and I'm on it all, and I love it all, I respect it all. It's all good, but I spent a lot of years, you know, check this out, addiction, drinking. I spent a lot of years just learning songs and going to the cover bars and wasting my fucking time, and just learning my songs. Like, I learned 2 songs by the next Friday, when my buds would come and pick me up, and we'd go to the Iron Horse.
Yeah.
And I'd show them a new Udo Dirkschneider song, or loudness song. You know, that's what I was in. I was into the early loudness, and everyone's like, "Dude, you gotta get in a band, and and do this, and you can make money doing covers." And I never wanted to.
So did you go towards the hair metal stuff? Were you more towards the hair metal?
I was, yeah, but the heavier hair metal. You
Like
know,
you said, loudness. What other bands were you listening to at that particular time?
like I said, I like loudness out of Japan.
Yeah.
A lot of the oddball stuff, you know. I mean, early Dokken, you can't beat George, but he's not even playing the same right now.
Right.
And it's like, of course, I was
He's got to
exposed
be
to that.
800 years old, right?
But yeah, he's up still playing. It's crazy,
yeah.
but he's not playing like he used to.
Yeah.
Not playing like he used to.
That was one of my first
John
concerts.
Dokken.
Was under Lock and Key was one of my first concerts at Riverfest. Remember Riverfest
Nice.
over at Harriet Island?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the first time
Man, I remember seeing Badlands there before
Jakey
the
Lee.
singer died. Jakey Lee, but forgive me. I'm gonna take shit for this. But yeah, when Badlands came out in their first album, it was killer. To answer your question again, I don't know. It was limited on new stuff coming in so fast, where, well, I can't learn them all this week, you know, whatever. But either way, I never wanted to play covers, and that kept me away from actually joining a band as well. You know, people I was with weren't about to have me in the band. Didn't like groupies, wouldn't have me doing, and it costed a lot of relationships. Yeah.
What do you mean they wouldn't have you in their band? They didn't want you to want to play with you, or what?
I was speaking girlfriends. They didn't want me in the band, or they'd leave me.
Oh,
sort of thing.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, you're in a lovely relationship, living with them.
Yeah.
And they're not liking my guitar coming first.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and you know what?
That's a common thing for musicians, man.
And artists in general, whether you're painting or plucking, you know, it's
now Topper,
sad
you've always since I've met you, you've always been you always exude creativity, dude. You've always had different looks. You've always worked real hard on how you put yourself out there, dude, and you've always seemed like a really creative dude. So if someone was in the way of your creativity, I don't know how long that would last for you. That's what I'm saying. You know, like that would piss me the fuck off. Like, hey man, what are you saying? I can't. That's when you look at them and go, maybe you should get a hobby. You know?
Yeah, it's been a rough ride, man.
Yeah, for sure.
In that aspect, yeah. Not only in that aspect though.
So now you're learning these tunes. You're playing your guitar. Now, when do you start your first band? When do you get into your first band? And what's the name of that band? And how long did that last?
I'd been called Void for a very brief time, and we played a party downtown at, I think, Sound Gallery it was called, and opened for Head Charge, American Head Charge.
Yeah.
And I think Flip was on that same bill. What I remember from that was I was thrown to the wolves. We played oh my God. I think I played a terrible set my first time on stage, but I was with them for like 2.5 weeks, and suddenly I'm thrown up,
Yeah.
and in front of maybe a couple hundred people,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just laugh at that. Lesson learned. I formed Nakita. It kind of just melded into Nakita. I found John and Chad from the City Pages, and we got that going. So Nakita went for a bit. I have a few crazy stories. Don't know how long you got, but
let them rip, dude.
Like, okay, the Quest. I always called it the Cage.
Yeah.
We played there. You and I played there many
Yeah.
times. I was called the Cage because you're on stage and you're looking up, and they're like looking down at you over the railing, like, rah, you know,
Right.
like, it feels like a cage.
Yeah.
The first Nakita show we played at the Cage on Lake Street,
Yep.
the Sober Club,
Yep.
as an instrumental because we were still looking for a song. I did an excerpt of Queensryche,
Yeah.
just like opening one of our songs. So that was actually the first Nakita public appearance at the Cage on Lake Street. That is now, I think, Extreme Noise, but it used to be a place called Gentleman Gyms, where my dad would bring us, and he'd have cool pictures, and we'd play pool, and I'd play Asteroids in that same space.
Damn.
Anyway, Nakita went out. We recorded the album. We were still looking for a singer. And I said, fuck it. I'm going to teach myself how to sing to this material. And we did it. And then I took us back out again. I booked us, you know, and we did the thing, Mirage a couple times, a whole bunch of Ryan's Corner, and did that. That was cool.
Now where were you guys practicing? Were you guys above Ryan's then, or what? I know Johnny played up there for a while.
Yeah, Regime, right? And who else?
Yeah. Well, Decker lived up there. Everybody was up there, man, back in the day.
Yeah, there were the Decker days. Yeah, for sure. But I remember buying Pinner joints from Decker at North High School.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's crazy, dude.
Anyway, we released like 100-seat cassettes, and we did an interview on Rue All Evil, looking for a singer, and then actually when this guy Randy from a band from Canada came down, and he was going to sing, and then he just bailed on us. So I just kept, yeah, it was weird because I mean he might have been sleeping on John and Chad's couch or something in Columbia Heights. And,
right. Yep, Minnesota, land of 10,000 flakes.
Yeah. So anyway, that went on and ended, you know.
With
We
the
played Iron Horse once, and it was open for War Machine, my buddy's Kiss cover band.
right.
And why they let us, I said, yeah, we can do like a cover or three or something. It was a little fib. So uh,
Did you guys end up doing any covers?
yeah, we did a Van Halen song, and I tore it up.
Nice.
You know, I did my own lead to it,
Nice.
and you know, yeah, Jamie's crying.
Nice.
And that was the only cover. And I watched the video. You know, I'm in nostalgic mode now.
Yeah.
And it's probably why we're here. You know, and I'm finding all this stuff in the file that, man, this just needs to be burned and get out, and like people experience like how I recorded all my stuff and throughout the years since 90.
You kept all of it? You
95,
got
yeah.
all of it?
Yeah, I've got two 4-drawer files full of all of it.
All just from the very beginning, the very first. What was it? Pearly White. Is that what you said? Pearly White.
Pearly White.
You got that recorded still?
Yeah, I still don't remember the guy's name. Damn it.
That's crazy,
yeah.
dude. Man, I'll tell you what. Here's a crazy thing, and I've said this on the podcast once before. You may have heard it or not. I was at a show one night, and I run into this guy, and he asked me if I had any of the old Necromus demo tapes, the cassette shit, you know, the recorded on, dubbed on Memorex type shit with just a paper fucking printed inlay for your cassette. You know what I'm saying? Those first ones, and then the second one we had them printed professionally. You know, that we had them done professionally, right? But this guy asked me if I had any copies of that stuff, and I said no, I don't. And he's like, I make records, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And he goes, I'm trying to find those old demos. Our bands played together, you know, and he wanted to make those into records. And I was like, yeah, I have no idea. So like a year later, he hit me up again, asked me if I had any contacts or if any of the guys had any of that stuff. And nobody had copies of that stuff that I was aware of. I had digital copies of the material, but not the cassettes themselves, you know?
Right.
The guy found those cassettes online in fucking Finland, my friend. In Finland.
Wow.
This guy in Finland apparently collected a year from this point to this point of Minneapolis metal. And this guy apparently has a bunch of demo tapes. The guy traded the shit for him. All of a sudden, the guy shows up like a year later after that with 2 Necromus records. So I got my first 2 demo tapes on records. But beyond that, dude, I don't have any of that shit. So it blows me away for a guy that's been making music for a long time and like even recording on boomboxes and shit. I mean, I remember us having jam sessions in basements and in fucking dance studio. I had a buddy, I played in a band with a buddy of mine. His mom owned a dance studio, dude, and we would take all of our gear and roll it into this closet. And then the kids would get out and we would show up there and we'd drink our faces off and just play metal covers in a fucking dance studio. So again, going back to all that old shit, it blows me away that you have all of that stuff. So around what time was that Pearly White stuff? What year time frame?
I think I think I mentioned it was like spring, maybe even right now, May-ish, 82.
Now dude, I was 10. Woo!
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You got old balls, bro.
I still have all the DATs of the Nakita stuff, and I can't find either of those dudes, dude. I cannot find John or Chad, and it would be cool to re-release it with more guitars and a better singer.
Yeah.
But it's on DAT, like you know.
John's still around. I see him on Facebook. I ran into him.
Yeah.
I can't remember who he's playing with, but I ran into him somewhere. His band was jamming somewhere. He's still playing.
Wasn't he doing? He was doing mostly covers though, right?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
at least
Yep.
like a few years ago,
Yeah.
right? Got to make that buck and have fun, you know.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
he started me playing with Eric Christensen. He was jamming with Eric from Sublevel, the original guitar player from Sublevel, above Ryan's.
Really.
That's how I met him through that whole chain of events as well. I think you were you playing with Stigma at that
I did.
time? When did you start playing with Stigma?
I did not. Yeah. Yeah. I did not know that, and that was probably when he bailed on the new version of Nakita.
Okay.
Yeah, we were trying out bass player and all stuff, and it just fizzled out. And finally, he wasn't showing up. Like, dude. So that's what started Unit Psychosis.
Oh,
So
okay.
anyway, yeah, you're probably right. He was probably jamming with y'all and having fun or whatever.
So that's
Dude,
when
it's really
so that's when Unit Psychosis started. Is in that time frame?
yeah. I actually took some of the stuff that I was working on with John just as a two piece
Okay.
and trying out bassists, and I took some of that and oh boy, wait, I'm jumping ahead. Um, we did find another bassist, and we took that out and played some shows and wrote some stuff.
With
Going
Nikita
into
still,
Unit
right?
Psychosis, yeah, Nakita, and didn't recorded a 3 song at Sound Gallery downtown, and I have that. It's dude, it's weird. One of the songs we used to do slow, called Unseen. Uh, I took that out and I did it in my hand here to Leia Carpe Noctem and played that all the way since then. This song Unseen,
Yeah.
it's a kind of a vampire song.
Uh huh.
But yeah. Anyway, I did an interview switching. I actually had flyers, Nikita / Unit Psychosis, and new material. And I went up to St. Cloud and did a radio interview, and he played 3 of the songs like on a Friday night. Weird,
Nikita stuff.
totally weird.
Nikita stuff.
Yeah, the newer Nikita stuff
Okay.
after John.
Okay.
Yeah. Into Unit Psychosis because I was writing it all and programming and had a buddy of mine at over Northeast helping me out because I didn't have a computer, Cubase, and all that stuff, and it was just real fast to get drum tracks and like do this and do this, and I'll do 3 guitars and I'll just sing a track, whatever. You know how it is.
I do.
But yeah, funny stuff.
Now with that with Nikita into the transformation of Unit Psychosis, where were you musically? What were you listening to? What was the because this isn't just standard metal. You know what I'm saying? Like this has got some back to it, man. I listening to these songs as I was setting this stuff up with the Unit Psychosis stuff, like. This is a transition that you were going through at that point with the Nakita stuff. Now I remember it vaguely, okay, because I had seen you guys play, and that's how I would even wanted to sing with you guys or whatever, even through John. I know we were running together at that time. I knew his cousin and a couple other people, and he was over on the west side with us all the time. So I had seen you guys play and had come to your guys' show. Now I know that there was, switching over to that Unit Psychosis stuff. What were you listening to at that point?
Well, it went into the electronic genre, and you can obviously tell in some of these songs the ideals and my. I told you this before. The Nakita stuff, it was like I had to get it out and get it done with, and fuck it, and then it was done. Because even I watched the Nakita stuff and was like, yeah, it's a half-assed lead player and that's 3-piece and taking care of all the guitars, but that was like the grunge was happening and fucking Pantera was out, and it's like, man, this is actually really light, and I could have used another guitar player and a heavier singer. But it was just, I guess, all those years building up to taking an original band out for the first time and just flushing it out. So live and learn. The unit Psychosis came into a lot more electronics and industrial, and my frequency changed. And I was sober, dude. And we'll get through this again. You know, I was sober all the way up until I got here in 2000, January 2007. So I was the sober guy in all of those shows, dude. You know, our shows,
That
Sub-Level.
blows me away, dude.
I was sober for 15 and a half years off of alcohol. Yeah, I smoked a little weed, but I was never a huge pothead, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I quit in 91 and I started when I got here in 2007. You know, unfortunately. No, but I mean, and that works into what I was about and my persona and being an asshole that didn't want to come sign autographs at First Avenue. He's the fucker that don't want to talk to fans. Like fucking, you know, I took all that. I'm releasing it now, I guess. You know, I took all of that. Like, dude, I'm, you know, all that netting and nylon, and I'm sopping wet. And by the time I'm level enough to, like, you know, talk to public, they've gone and the show's over and the merch is packed up. So fuck it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah. But it kind
I'll
of,
go to some-
dude, it always added to the mystique of you too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like for me knowing you back then, I remember you being sober, but I didn't realize it was through all of that shit, because there was some wild times in all those shows. And dude, we played a lot of shows together.
Dude.
We did a lot of shit together.
Dude, yeah, regional, and yeah, a lot of shit went down, and I mean, skipping, you know, far ahead past unit Psychosis, the Stigma thing, it got weird, and it's one of the main reasons I left.
Yeah.
So
now with the unit Psychosis stuff, like as you're building that, right, and you're doing that on your own, how many players join you with that? Was that just a solo deal for the whole through the whole thing?
It started out a performance art solo thing, where I was working on like a 40-minute set, and just to do it, me singing, crooning, screaming with my guitar and a bunch of effects. At the time, I was playing through a 412 and a bass 215 cabinet, and just like, yeah, doing loops and effects on my guitar and singing over and screaming, and it was more performance art, and it's kept that way all the way up, all the way right now. You know, I joined all these other bands and put Psychosis on the back burner always. And, you know, I joined the band Liquid Pulse, and I played First Ave with them and the Entry with them. And there's this one gig I was running late because I got a unit Psychosis tattoo, and it was wrapped up. And the singer goes, "Yeah, he's only temporary with us," because it was still wrapped up.
Yeah.
Loading up my shit on the stage to play with Liquid Pulse, and those are good times too. But yeah, but it's always been put on the back burner, and I've always been at it. If I wasn't busy, or I had, you know, psychotic, you know, sober on coffee and green tea, I'd go record any chance possible.
Yeah.
And throw it down and try to promote it. There was Stigma shows at Ryan's. One particular I remember, I was handing out unit Psychosis, putting them on the bar, and the band's looking at me like, "What in the fuck?"
Yeah.
Whoa.
So are you writing that? Are you writing unit Psychosis this whole time? Like like this
Yeah.
this performance. I mean, that was pretty much your main focus was to do that, the vision that you had.
On the back burner, but it's always been a strong point
Yeah.
of my creativity and stuff. The deal with Stigma is I was recording Psychosis on Tuesdays, which is a practice day off of Stigma. In Uptown at a place, Mutation Research Technologies, with my buddy Brian Green, and 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 I got to credit him with upcoming songs, Soothe and Left. That's what I was doing on only Tuesdays, a few hours on Tuesdays. That leaks into another reason I got scared away from Stigma, because Stigma was having a little lull in a way, but we'll get to that, because the other two were busy, but there were times I was living with Derek, the drummer.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
Yep.
Love you, buddy.
R.I.P.,
Rest in
man.
peace.
Yep.
There were some, I'd be getting up on Monday and they'd still be up from Friday. So with that said, that scared the fuck out of me, because my whole heart, even besides Tuesdays, Psychosis nights, it was Stigma was happening. And,
Yeah.
Brian Singer,
Yep.
had us coming to here, LA, to play some shows. And one day my gear was from recording on Tuesday, and I showed up to a practice it's a Stigma practice, and my gear wasn't there. And they're all freaking out. Well, not freaking out, but it's like, what the fuck, actually. And it just scared the fuck out of me. And that's another little regret, because we should have had a real deep powwow about how and what the fuck to do,
Yeah.
But another aspect was me and Derek had about 6 songs, which were 3 ideas for Stigma and 3 unit Psychosis songs. And I'm like, dude, I'll sing them and we'll go out as a 2-piece opening for Stigma. What do you fucking think about that?
Yeah.
And that was a real thing.
Yeah.
And
now I got to back you. I got to back you up though, man. And I hate to stop you right there, but I got to back you up. How did you get hooked up with those guys? Like, was it just like, how did you meet the Stigma guys? Like, where did you guys run into each other? How did that all come to be?
What's fucking funny is in Liquid Pulse, I think it was a St. Cloud show, we opened for Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
Which was Brian's 2-piece band before Stigma. I hope I don't get in trouble mentioning names, but I'm just.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, who are you going to get in trouble with? Were they going to call you up and yell at you?
Yeah. Oh, you said my name. I know. I just I don't want to be a.
Nah, you're all right, man. You're not talking shit, right?
Yeah. Messenger of fuckery, but I'm fucking mostly totally brutally honest and get shit for it. But anyway, not to whine. Our band Liquid Pulse opened for them in St. Cloud at a gig.
Okay.
And I'm backstage, all that shit with my shit, with Stigma, and all of that was each show custom. Me backstage, ripping it over me until I couldn't breathe, and then cutting holes in it so I could fucking see, and so I could fucking eat.
Yeah.
And do it my shoddy mohawk through the netting and the nylon. And I was backstage, and they were on, and it's like fucking the walls, like poof, poof, poof. And they were killing it, dude. Just as a 2-piece. And he was playing guitar and singing with a badass drummer. And I'm backstage with a little lamp, 1 bulb lamp with a hair dryer, same electric cord, pulling it up, fuck. These guys are killing it, and I'd like to go heavier. And I didn't last too much longer in Liquid Pulse. One day in Uptown at the Walgreens, I see Brian and said, dude, yeah, we played that show, blah, 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 blah. Well, I should drop you my numbers. Well, drop it, whatever. Crazy as fuck. Crazy as fuck. He was living in the same building I lived in 2.5 years earlier than that, when I was in Nakita, in the same building in Uptown. I left him a note and said, dude, I'm available. I loved your stuff and whatever the stuff. And I had no idea he had airplay on 93X.
Yeah.
On Loud and Local.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing Static Gray, for like a year.
Yeah.
Before he even had a band. We hook up. He's got a bass player, Murray, and we hook up. We meet up at Muddy Waters, have some Joe, and we went for it. We went for it, and that was that. We found Ben, and we found Derek. Derek came down from Chisholm, and was a crazy drummer, and that's what happened with Stigma. That's the birth of that. It's like, dude, learn these 3 songs because they're playing them, and like come. Our first deal was that time at Quest.
Yeah.
And we ended up picking the straw to headline. And it was like fucking 15 below zero. And I stayed out on the deck. Like, I didn't even want to go in. Like, and I was frozen ass. And like, years, oh, what a night, man. To go from 15 below on the deck, on the loading dock, to a hot room where everyone just played and we're supposed to like fucking kick ass.
Hell yeah.
Was
that a Quest for Mayhem?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. He was what did he do those before the show every time, or was that early? When was that? Do you remember the year roughly?
Thanksgiving 2001.
Jesus.
The night after Thanksgiving 2001.
Huh. Black Friday 2001, huh?
Yeah, but it was like Sunday, right? Because that was the Quest for Mayhems. So it's like,
no, it was Friday. They usually did them on Fridays.
Oh, it's Friday.
Friday.
Okay,
yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense if it was Black Friday then. We'd have to try to look that up. You know what? We don't want to jump too far ahead. We got 3 songs to hit too, so we should play a song. So do me a favor and mute your mic for me, and we'll play this next tune, and then I will we'll come back and chat a little bit more if that's all right.
Right on.
All right, folks, take a listen, and we'll be right back. All right. What's happening? What's happening? Oh, yes. So I want to talk up.
Our painful days,
What's
they
what?
linger.
What's that, buddy?
Our painful days, they linger.
Is that part of it right there?
That's what I was saying. And then why? Screaming why.
Nice. Hey, so what was the first song that we played? What was the video? What was the name of that song?
Did you play Soothe?
Yes, Soothe. That's the one. Soothe. Now,
Okay.
when about in
Okay.
the time frame of when you're doing the unit psychosis stuff? When do you write Soothe?
That was in those Tuesday sessions and whenever time I had, aside from Stigma. And that last song, Left,
Yeah.
was another one. Yeah. And that was a path I was on. Yeah.
That was pretty fucking heavy, dude. I don't know how you would say that you needed to go much heavier than that. That's pretty fucking heavy, I think.
Uh,
And I'm into heavy shit.
you know,
so.
yeah, I know. Well, I don't know. Thanks. They turned out, the ideals melded together, and it turned out pretty cool. The thing with Sue is that video. Forgive me, when you're doing the Vivo thing, and that was like 13 years ago. That was here, and I'm like, oh, a couple beers, and I'll just like throw pictures of my art and stills of photo shoots and throw Sue over it. And little do you know, like when you're doing that sort of not cheesy, but just like low grade stuff, you don't know the pixelation of the images, and then you run out of images because it's like whoa. So I had to repeat images, and it is what it is. But it's sound art, so fuck it.
No, it was cool, dude.
Say,
I've done those videos, man, so many times to other people's music. You know what I mean? Just taking art and
right.
cool things that I like. Dude, that's what I loved about First Avenue back in the day when they would have certain nights they would just play random shit on those videos. That was some of my favorite shit.
Yeah. It was the beginning of the whole video age,
Right. Right.
And, I mean, and Nine Inch Nails and Ministry and all them were throwing it up, but yeah, cool. It's just it just happened, and yeah, it's pixelated, and yeah, whatever. I'm over it, but the song's all right.
Now, Soothe
I mean,
and Left, they're all on the same album, both of those ones.
I've got a few releases where they reappear on all three, but they're different compilations and different mixes. But yeah. They're on Yours, the CD, and they're on the Archive 9 CD.
Now, where can people get that stuff? Where can they reach that stuff or buy it?
Well,
I know you said
I've got a Bandcamp.
Okay, sorry.
I've got a Bandcamp. Oh, sorry. I don't think. Well, I'm at Big Cartel.
Yeah.
Bandcamp. Reverb Nation.
And that's going to be Unit Psychosis, correct?
Yeah, I did the Big Cartel as TA Works.
Yeah.
BigCartel.com, because I'm mixing my art with it. My other stuff other than music. But Unit Psychosis 1.bandcamp is 5 or 6 CDs available. Reverb Nation, and I didn't do anything to stream because I failed to make waves. Literally in this past week, getting ready for this, and in the past, literally in the past. No, it's just like, if I can say one thing about us weirdo artists, is we really need like a secretary or an agent to handle the shit that we can't handle.
Yeah.
And it's marketing, and all the shit that I really despise. And well, lo and behold, I'm still a broke artist. So, but anyway,
But dude,
yeah,
if you have the archives that you say you do, dude, with all of the music that you have, there should be some way in like in one spot that you can get all of it. You know what I mean? I know that you're working on
yeah,
it right now, and there's
yeah.
with all the stuff that you have, dude. You really should put it out there. Somebody will catch it. Somebody will enjoy it. Dude, it's good stuff. I've always enjoyed the stuff that you've created, all of the projects that I've seen you do. Like I said, dude, you had a great look. You were always very conscious of the way you put yourself out there, and like you were talking before, trying to get out of all the gear and all the stuff that you used aesthetically, you know what I'm saying? In the look that you were putting out there when you're playing live, you had the fucking what you had all the stuff that was in front of you. You had like what spines and shit like that, right? You did all kinds of crazy shit, like gas masks and all kinds of stuff, right? That was like stage prop stuff that you used for years, right?
Oh boy, a lot for unit psychosis. Yeah, and two of the sculptures are right up here behind me.
Pick up
Actually,
your phone and show them if you
I'm
can.
hold,
Show them
I'm
if you
holding
can.
my phone.
Yeah.
I'm holding my deal because it's plugged in because it was starting to
Oh,
go
gotcha,
dead.
gotcha.
So I hope it fucking don't do that. But um, I don't know if you can even see them, but
Up in the top corner there.
and I'm a little shaky and you can't. I don't know. Fuck.
It looks good,
Yeah.
dude. I can
Anyway,
see it.
um, uh, that Stigma mic stand that Brian used,
Yeah,
my brother actually did that. My brother Jim
yeah.
did that with the gas mask and the hose and yeah,
That's sick, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The you know our backdrop for Stigma?
yeah,
We call it the pod.
yeah.
I spent like oh man,
God, I haven't seen that in
like
forever.
5 weeks of that being in my living room in Uptown, putting that together. And we had to drill holes and like put eye bolts on the top of two different vehicles to lug it and cover it up, and because it was winter and like. But yeah, I remember we showed up at First Ave and we're like, well, "What the fuck is that?" It's like, well, it's our backdrop. It's not a curtain. It's a physical thing.
Yeah,
It was like I call it the pod, and yeah, it lit up and strobed, and it had curtains on it, and there's an S in there with a skull for Stigma, and uh, had the thing on the bottom. It was like I don't know if you remember that. It was like uh, hexagonal, but tri-hex shaped. So it was like the point came down at the bottom, and then we had the laser level, like like now it looks like a UFO. Like
sick.
yeah, but that was fun. That
Oh
was
yeah,
fun.
dude, that's awesome. Fuck yeah. What is
It
so
was,
now as you're pulling from Stigma. Now, when do you now this whole time you're doing the physical art as well, correct? Like when did you start like painting and doing all of the things that you do? Dude, you do so much shit. You do jewelry. I think I bought a couple pieces from you, right? And then you do all
boy,
kinds of different art.
um, sorry about the pause. I started doing sculpture, small scale sculpture out of barbed wire back in '90. Uh, I was with Nakita H into Psychosis. So 95 ish, I got the idea for the sculptures, and that's when actually one of these started. I finished one of these in '96, and it's just been with me forever. You know.
Yeah.
Um, so then I must say, professionally, as a so-called artist, like about '96, where my shit hit Uptown and Saint Sabrina's, and just tried to get it out there on a small scale. About then, yeah, yeah,
Damn, you had pieces in St. Sabrina's too, huh?
yeah, yeah. Small scale barbed wire, like I do like vanity desktop made out of all the framework is barbed wire, real barbed wire,
Oh, nice.
and then like a platform, mirror platform, and then it comes up into like a mirror, so it's got two things, and you could put little trinkets on your little oils, and then actually it's functional too. And I've done that throughout the years. I'm getting back to it now because I've got many pieces that need finishing, but I've sold them all. Once I got here, I've sold them all. So that's cool. But that's just the sculpture, barbed wire, functional stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I really just started painting when I got here too, in '07, and then got back to it recently last summer, and suddenly I have like 6 or 8 paintings, and yeah. When they call you an artist, and it's like yeah, I don't consider myself like when you promoted a musician. You're like, dude, yeah, I don't find myself being a musician. I'm more of a composer, and just like uh, the way I make my art and think my art is the way I think about music.
Yeah.
And when I got here,
explain that,
and did some, what's that?
I said, explain that. What do you mean by that?
Uh, I don't know. Maybe it's just how uh, my creations come to life, either physically or in sound, or or both. Like I think the same way doing the art or my playing or composing. It's really in the same realm of of like uh, man, they can coincide, and they should. And when I got the opportunity to come here to LA, I had a person believe in me, and that's why I left. Other than I fucking hate your winters, dude. I did my time, dude. I did my time in those winters, but I got my opportunity and came, and I was going to work on movie sets, which I actually got hired for. We'll get back to that, but
No, okay, so how did that actually happen? How did you get the opportunity to head to LA? Like, were you just like, I'm heading that way? You said that Brian had brought you out here, right? You guys were doing shows out here, right?
no, no, no. Uh, I have the classic guy meets girl, leaves home, and goes to LA.
All right.
Like literally, dude. And it's a funny story, a little long
Go
if I
ahead, man.
make it, but
Fire it.
I met a girl on MySpace. We hooked up. It was good. She loved my art. I thought, dude, you gotta be in LA. You gotta be in LA. She was a makeup artist, and I literally packed up and left. During that time, I was working on Psychosis. I had a lockout and stuff, and actually had the synth player from Liquid Pulse, and we were going to take it out as a 2-piece, and it just never came to fruition. Boy, load my van, left my job, my cat, my apartment, my family, and fucking bolted. December 1st, 2006. it's it's been quite the ride ever since, dude. It's been quite the ride. Back to the art. I mean, you gotta be whatever. So yeah, I'll try to get some gigs and work my art, and maybe get in a band and maybe do that. But mainly my art and stuff. Got here, it was trouble in paradise. Uh, she was doing makeup on a dude, and apparently liked him enough to leave me. And I had 3 weeks to deal with being homeless almost.
Oh shit.
And because I didn't have a full time, I got a couple cool parts, but I wasn't making money, and she just I think she freaked out too, and she just bailed. And yeah, I've technically been homeless here twice,
Oh shit.
and yeah, not shelterless, but I was twice. I was living in a like a residential hotel, and if dude didn't like me and said, the beers or your music or whatever, you're
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
I would have been in my car. Yep.
Damn.
But it panned out. But I have a funny story. Um, okay, we get here. She borrowed a car to a couple that went out while we were driving here across the United States. We get here and she goes, "Oh, your car got a flat and it's over at this guy's house." We go up into Burbank to get her car, and it's this dude on a Harley, long hair, blah blah blah. And as I'm changing her tire, like, why didn't you guys just at least change the tire or whatever? Blah 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 blah. Uh, you know, he goes, "Oh, what do you do? You're in a band or whatever the fuck." Let's back up a little bit. Me and Brian from Stigma, singer Stigma, weren't on real tight terms, and he had come here like a year and a half or two before me,
Yeah.
and we weren't on speaking terms just because of the stigma thing, and I do apologize about that because fuck. Anyway, I get here, change the tire, blah blah blah, and I meet this dude. And he goes, "Oh, here's an email. Email this dude because we got a guitar player, but we're not sure if he's gonna work out or if he's really too into it or whatever the heck." And we're looking for a second one. I said, "Ah, cool. I just got here, but whatever." Went and bought an amp. Went to the email, learned the songs. It was thumpy, half-ass, not bad music. And I started thinking to myself, I think I kind of recognize this, man. I gotta email this guy and ask what's going on, or why do you need another guitar player or whatever. Um, Dude, it was Brian on guitars from Stigma.
Wow.
And how the fuck, dude, across the fucking country, we're not on friendly terms, like at least speaking terms.
Yeah.
And how the fuck, dude, in all of LA and the United States,
Yeah.
my first day in LA,
Yeah.
I'm reconnected with, and I think he kind of quit that band too, and he played the Whiskey, and actually that band's playing the Whiskey on Monday, this Monday coming up, Scum Love.
What are they called?
Yeah, Scum Love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
What?
So he
What are
was
the fucking odds?
so you're learning the tunes and it turns out to be Brian's band or the band he was jamming in. Is that what you're saying?
He was a guitar player, but they were looking for a second guitar player.
Ah.
Dude, what the fuck? It was like, oh.
Did you actually
wow.
talk to him? Did you actually talk to him at the time? Were you jamming with him at all?
No, I learned the songs like in an hour and thought, man, I somehow recognized this. Maybe he was on MySpace and he was promoting it like when I was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And formed the live band, and then I got there here and but yeah, I emailed him and said, I'm gonna pass. Pass.
Yeah.
This is too crazy, and I didn't bring up names or whatever, but I just passed.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's a twisted story, dude. That is really weird to come all the way. Now he was with Clowney at that time, wasn't he?
Who?
Chris. Wasn't he dating Chris at that time? From Minnesota, Chris.
I'm not sure.
God damn it!
I'm not sure.
I can't remember her name. If I pull it up, it's gonna fuck with me.
No, wait. Did he call her Kat? Was it Kristen?
Yep.
And he called her Kat, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I met her a couple times, and after we made amends, and here he lived dude, I started renting an apartment, a room in a back of apartment,
Yeah.
and he was 4 blocks away from me.
That's
Dude,
that's craziness, dude.
what are the chances?
Yeah.
So we made up, and we've been good ever since.
Well, that's good,
Just
dude.
get over it.
Now you said that
Yeah.
he's back up this way now, huh? You said he's in La Crosse or something?
Yeah.
Or no, Winona.
No, yeah, Winona. Yeah, he owns a bar downtown Winona.
No shit.
With his sister. Yeah, with his sister, they took over this bar. I think it's No Name Bar downtown Winona.
Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy. I could have swore my buddy does
Yeah.
a death metal thing there every now and again, I believe. I'd have to look that up, but I believe
Wow.
so. That's a trip.
Wow. Yeah. Possibly. Yeah. I have another funny LA story
Yeah.
from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Growing up, remember the Hulk TV series
Yeah.
with Bill Bixby and
Yeah.
The original, like
Lou
my
Ferrigno?
dad. Yeah, Lou. My dad would say, dude wasn't even a dude. He'd say, hey, that the guy playing this part right here, he's actually black. He's actually black, and that's all green makeup. And I was like, oh, well, cool. I mean, it's like the stand-in because Lou didn't do a lot of it.
Yeah.
The place I'm still at now, we moved from there, but this job I ended up with right before I was homeless, like for the first time here in 07. I get this job, and blah 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 blah. I meet this dude across the street, and it's Manny. It's him that did that part.
Like the
Across
stand
the United
is what you're talking about? You say
He was a stunt double for Lou Ferrigno.
That's awesome.
The guy, just a big, beautiful dude, is nice as hell. Like, no way, man. My dad and me talked about you, like,
Yeah.
and I found out he's got his own stunt company and all this stuff, but he was literally right across the street from my job that I've had for 18 years here.
That's sick.
Come on.
Small fucking world, dude. Small world. Hey, let's hit it. Hey, let's hit another tune.
Sorry.
So we've got 2 more
All
to
right.
get through. We'll pound it out another one. I think this one is the A.H.I.D. I think is the one I did. That's on the same album as Left, correct?
Of yours, yeah.
Okay.
But it appears a couple times in 2 different versions. One, the A.H.I.D. 2, I think you might be playing. Maybe not. Maybe it's just the plain one.
Yeah.
Is it no 2 on there?
I don't believe so. We'll listen to it, and you can tell me which version it is. And I just wanted to make sure, because you gave me 2 songs that are on the same album, and then you gave me one that was on a different album. So I believe this is on the same album, I believe, right? As the
If
one.
it's A.H.I.D. straight up, it's on Archive 9, which is from the Archives, which is the original version. And it's a little bit March of the Pigs driven.
Okay.
Like 9 Inch Nails.
Okay.
Like drum wise.
Okay.
But yeah, go for it.
All right, we'll take a listen.
I can pee.
Make sure you you mute for me, will you?
Right now? All right.
Yep. All right, we'll take a listen, folks. Stick around. All right, dude. Hell yeah. H H A
Penetrate.
A-H-I-D. Tell me what that's all about.
I don't know if I want to give that away. What I'm saying at the end is penetrate,
Yeah.
and that was the first title, but I called it A.H.I.D. Um, there's a line in there: a hole I drill to insert the pill. So a hole I drill,
Oh, nice.
quite simply.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what's that tune about? How'd you rate that one?
man. It's kind of like it's a mixture of lobotomy and how they you know how we need to penetrate back at them. I don't know, man. That's a good question because I would have to really think more about that. But that was like I recorded that in Northeast Minneapolis with a buddy, Lonnie Johnson, that I went to junior high with, and at Nora Fast Studios. Him and I would get together and you know take it from the back burner and I remember one time I even rollerbladed across town from uptown into Northeast through downtown to record some stuff, and that's from 1990, late like circa 96, 97. That's how old that
That
is.
particular song?
Yeah,
Damn.
96, 97, and that's what I, you know, that's what I wanted to take out live this whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, we redid it at Mutation Research and added some keys and stuff. That's A.H.I.D 2. And
Which
the
version is this
like,
one? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but which version was that? 2 or
that
1?
was the first one.
Oh, nice. Okay.
No, that was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. The second one's okay. It had some keyboards and synth in it, but the guitars dropped out a little bit. And but it's kind of a cool version of it. It was just like, let's do that while we're here, because I still had the tracks. It had never been really released, and we just transferred it to his Cubase, and
Yeah.
anyway, one unit Psychosis Tuesday.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
was created on a Tuesday, huh? Or multiple Tuesdays?
Oh boy, multiple Tuesdays for the remix, but yeah, multiple. Probably a few months going over Northeast to my buddy's house.
Nice.
But man, I've done probably 6 songs there, and one of them was called "Duel of the Damned," and I turned that into a videographer that had a cable show, actually 2, and it played on like
Public access or something?
yeah, like 3 different access channels.
Nice.
Back then. Like, what? And I did this one
Dude,
song called "Nailed."
That fucking ages us as well, dude. Saying that they were on public access.
Dude, yeah,
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you
yeah.
off.
No, it's fine. There's a little bit of skipping, so, but yeah, I did 3 songs, and 2 of them ended up. 3 of them, I made 3 videos, and my brother helped me with 2 of them. And we shot them in a coal chamber on Nicollet Avenue in my apartment building, which was yours, actually the first yours. We did Duel of the Damned in my apartment upstairs on Hennepin, and it was like 101 degrees, dude. And my mohawk's all like down, and I have the long back in the back, but it was so humid. It's all like curly, like I just watched it, it's like hilarious. But I watched this video, and it's the exact format that Trent used in 9 Inch Nails videos. Like it was that stuff, but it was way 3, 4, 5 years late.
Yeah.
And I used that actual video editing shit that Trent Reznor used on my video.
Yeah.
And one of them, another one called Nailed, I shot, and my brother helped me because I needed, I turned that into another dude, and he played it regionally on his deal, and I have it on video right now and transferred to DVD. But he put my video between Kiss and Voivod on a Saturday on a cable show. Like, what?
That's
What?
awesome, dude.
And the reason I'm like releasing like these archivals, like, dude, that song Nailed, I built it around a backwards drum track and I just went with it.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to put that out? Listen to those drums. It's going like literally. And I just sang over and put mean grindy guitars over it, recorded in the winter on a Fostex 4-track, and totally blew out the distortion because I was direct.
Yeah.
It was so totally
just redlined.
Totally in the moment.
Redlined all the way.
God. Yeah. And I mean, it's listenable, but on the Archive 9 that it's released on, and I think it's going to go on Archive 12 too. There's liner notes saying, dude, not dude, but hey, watch your bait on your radio because it kicks up on this song. But you got to read the liner notes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Archive 9, I have lyrics and liner notes about how it was recorded and the fiascos involved. It's just been fun, dude.
Dude, that's so crazy because we were kids that read the liner notes. We were the guys that looked at all the artwork, and because when we came up, it was records, man. You had these big giant pieces of art, and some of these bands were smart enough to put posters in it, and what was the floopy gun that Love Gun had in it and all of that. You know what I mean? Like they had. Well, fuck! I remember a record sleeve that was blood. You know what I mean? Like the record slid in between it, but the whole sleeve itself had blood sloshing around in it. Just shit like that, man. That was cool shit. I remember you opening the record, and it was like the full artwork. You know what I mean? Like a big giant piece of art or a really cool photograph or something. You know what I'm saying? That shit was cool, man. I mean,
you know what? It's still fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I dig that. And people laugh like, you're still doing CDs, and like, yeah, but yeah, I am. and maybe an album will come up, but being broke in LA and whatever the fuck.
Dude, there's so many people around here that are actually re-releasing cassette tapes nowadays, dude. That's what's fucking funny, is that there are some grindcore bands in Minneapolis and all around, death metal, grindcore, black metal. They're all releasing like fucking cassette tapes now. And then Copycats just got a vinyl section, and from what I've heard, they're just booked out fucking super far too. So I mean, the vinyl shit's coming back, man. I hope to see a bunch of records because I started collecting a little bit myself. So
I don't have a player, but they're a dime a dozen, and yeah, you can get that, and you can also get the triple whammy cassette, radio, CD, at Best Buy for like $30.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a high tech thing, but it's still doable.
Right.
With all the weird plugins. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, just bringing up that point, I went to Best Buy maybe 5 years ago and asked the dude, "Hey, where are the DVD players?" And he goes, "Well, I'll take you." Yeah, the look on his face, is a millennial. You look on his face like, who is this old fucker?
Yeah.
He brought me back, and there's like 2 on the shelf, and it was just like a mini DVD player.
Yeah.
For $22.
Yeah.
I'm still using
insane, dude. It is so insane to me. I have a giant DVD collection that I've been trying to do digital because I built a home server for my movies that I have. I've got like 1,000 movies on this fucking server. I got a bunch from my friend too, and I really wanted to do. I've got a buddy who's got a fucking huge collection of old DVD porn, dude. And I want to dub all those porn just to have them, just for pure fucking freaky weirdo sake. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I used to work in a porn shop, man. You know what I mean? Like it was mainstay for me.
There's still a DVD porn shop down by my work. Still, I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
buy 4 get 2 free. Like,
right.
really?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. That's crazy. So,
Crazy.
so I
That
wanted
is.
to ask you when we were on that last musical break. So, what is it that you do for work? What do you do for work? If you don't mind talking about that.
Crazy fucking story. Back in 2007, I'm looking for work. Uh, I actually got some parts. I played a bartender in a music video. This video called Faces by a band. Um, Scary Kids Scaring Kids. And they shot it in the building where the first Saw was filmed.
No shit.
And we're all sitting down there. And I'm like, man, I know that furnace.
Yeah.
I know this fucking room. This is fucking crazy. Yeah. Uh, you can't tell I'm a bartender in the video because I'm not like pouring drinks.
Yeah.
And the thing is with chumpy low budgets parts. The dude literally said, "Don't ever look at the camera. That's all I ask of all of you. Don't look at the camera." And I remember he was coming up, panning up, and the camera was coming up,
Yeah.
like towards the bar, like towards me.
Yeah.
And I take I pour a shot and I like hand it to the camera, like, whoops. I'm a bartender. I'm playing the part.
Right.
But that didn't make the video. That cut, but they show me like 3 or 4 times. If you still look up that video, it's called Faces. Yeah, okay, whatever. Looking for work. I landed a couple cool things. I got hired to work on a movie. We all met at Denny's Sunset, and like 12 people read through the script. Blah 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 blah. Take your notes. What props we need and who can do it and blah blah blah. I was in, and I was like, cool, cool, finally, and because I was about to be homeless, and about 2.5 weeks passed, and I've got no money. You had to book time on the computer at the library to get on Craigslist, and you're only allotted an hour. Like, you can maybe write down 3 that you might be interested in that hour. Are you kidding me? I wrote this one down, called it, blah, blah, blah. The manager at that time, I was leaving the library, and it was a Friday. It's like 3:30 p.m. He called me. I answered like I'm in the library lot, and it's my manager at the job I have now. He said, "Come on down. We got shipping. We'll start you blah, 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 like drop off your resume." And I dropped it off the next day or the next Monday or whatever the fuck. He called me immediately after I dropped it off, whether it was that same day or the Monday after that Friday. And I've been there ever since. It'll be
shit.
18 years. It'll be 18 years in November. Dude, what I do, I'm part of a small team, kick-ass team. Lot of come and gone throughout the years. Probably 50 employees that I've seen come and go. I'm the eldest in the company. We make the Gold and Platinum Awards for the music industry.
Oh no shit.
I'm head screener, silk screener, and dude, what a ride and what a godsend for me to even still be there at this age and like still loving it and whatever. But our shit's gone to the White House, and I brought parts home and worked on Ozzy's, and I went into this 6 foot Ozzy Osbourne, 100 million platinum sales or whatever the hell, dude. The shit that goes through my hands is unfucking believable. All of our hands. I'm just part of this group, but yeah, we are one of 4 in the world, and I'm gonna say we're the best.
Nice. Nothing
It's
wrong with being
fucking
confident.
nutty, dude.
Hell yeah, that's awesome, dude. So you get to work out all kinds of
No,
props and all kinds of cool shit, or what?
yeah, everything from sold out tours to dude, I do Spotify a billion streams
no shit.
to people I've never even heard of. People I never even heard of. It's like, man, I got to get the archive out, get it going, because it's just nuts. It's really fucking nuts, and I adore it. We're with the best team ever now. The owner sold and got a new owner, and it's totally a beautiful place to be, and I'm honored to still be there. It's crazy.
18 years, huh, dude? That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, well, they started me in shipping, and I'm packing up these things. Man, going to Carmine a piece
Yeah,
to his house.
yeah,
I got his address right here.
yeah,
He was with Rod Stew.
yeah.
He was with amongst everybody. Nice Nails. We do them all. We do them all. I was gonna have a little stack here, but I didn't do it because I can just show you some old stuff, because that's the really weird thing is I got to keep it on the down low
Yeah.
until they receive it, and
Right.
like not news, and
Yeah.
can't like promote. I can't say, hey, check this out, because like they haven't even gotten it yet. But
Yeah.
I have years and years and years of stuff I've done, which is pretty cool to look back on.
Oh,
Anyway,
I
that's
can
what I
imagine,
do
dude.
full time.
Now,
Yeah.
all of those pieces behind you are all yours, right? What's the lamp?
Most of them.
What's the lamp that's above you? That is. Did you do that one?
I made that here in 06.
No shit.
Yeah.
How about
And believe it or not,
the painting to that would be your left shoulder? Yep, that one. Yep.
right here.
Yeah.
That's actually a buddy of mine in a band. He paints, and I bought it from him. I was like, I got a credit card or 10 once upon a time, and I said, dude, if that's still available, I'm buying it. And that was a band we played with when I was in Tulea. Carpe Noctem. Good, great guy, good artist, great artist, whatever.
Now you do a lot. You do a lot. You do a lot of artwork with the nails and stuff like that too, right? Those are like
Yeah.
old school nails too.
You can buy them new, but I patina them and make them look old. That's that's a long story. It has a lot to do with apocalyptic horror, Los Angeles, and the line Outcome, which I created. It's just like I envisioned the apocalypse, and well, first of all, people say, man, what you do is so apocalyptic. So yeah, okay, I'll get apocalyptic horror, Los Angeles going. Had that going forever, up until just recently. I bailed out, and it remained just me. I wanted it to be a community and get everyone involved, artists and music, and I just didn't. I guess it's my bad. I didn't push it. I didn't ask people, you want to come up, and be a part of APOC. It's just a deal. But anyway, the stuff's like you dug it up from the future. The apocalypse came and wiped out everything, and the remaining beings dug 12 feet under and dug up shit, and this is the outcome.
Yeah.
So I called the line of this jewelry Outcome. I don't know if you can see this,
Yep.
but
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
that's that patina is acrylic. It's totally safe. You know, it's not like rusted,
Yeah.
decayed. No, it's totally like I repurpose shit and make cool shit out of
Yeah.
shit.
Do you have
Yeah.
other pieces right there you can show? What else you got?
I got this one here. I don't know if you see it.
Yeah.
I'm shaking. It's
Yeah.
like coffin nails and clips and
Yeah.
chain and you know. Uh, I had to redesign them, which really threw me fucking for a 2 year, 3 year loop because all the ones I made, I sold,
Yeah.
and the rubber parts start deteriorating and they'd snap on people like,
Yeah.
I know, I know, I know, I know. Did you read the slip in the thing? It says keep it in plastic when you're not wearing it. Hang it on the wall, keep it in the baggie that I mailed it in
Yeah.
or I sold it in
Yeah.
because it oxidizes and the shit
Well,
wasn't
yeah. Well, when
trustworthy.
you're wearing it on your body too, your oils in your body will break it down easy too.
Exactly. So this new line, I know it looks like, oh well, he just like wrapped the shit in yarn or whatever, but it's real tedious shit.
Yeah.
It's many, many gluings, and this shit is not gonna break
Yeah.
or fall apart.
Durable, huh?
It's on the good go.
Nice.
Yeah.
What else you got? You got
Crazy.
anything? Got anything else right there?
Man. I mold my own stuff. Um, I've got a little ankh,
Nice. I like it.
And that's by hand. I still have I made it in my hotel I was in back in '07, and I still have the mold, so I can mold it in any product that the silicone will take. But
Nice.
yeah, I don't know, man. This I didn't expect to do this, but I'm sitting. It's my shit is all surrounding me.
Yeah.
My life,
Yeah.
literally, is all around me. I literally sleep on the floor. Yeah, I sleep on the floor of my art studio stockroom. Literally. I mean, I did this color
Nice. That's sick looking,
like
dude.
this is from '96 or '7.
Yeah.
Multiple beings there,
Oh
and
yeah.
I still have it. Yeah.
What's the bottom? What's the bottom? What's the bottom of that? Show me the bottom of that.
Oh, that's just something I picked up. A little stand,
Oh, that's
cool
wicked.
little coppery stand.
Oh, so those weren't together. It was just the
Oh no,
can.
yeah, no, it
Ah,
comes out.
gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought they were one piece. Very cool.
comes out, and it's
Now,
a candle and
now you
shot.
you sell things like this too?
On my Shopify. Yeah, everything. It's not everything, but it's what is put up now. But there's a lot of items on my Shopify.
I will. What I will do, dude, is I will have you send me that link again. I think I sent it back to myself on my Facebook, so I can grab it. I believe.
Yeah.
I'll look again. If I don't get those links for your Shopify, your Bandcamp, the Big Cartel, make sure I get all those, and I'll put all those links in the description on the YouTube for this particular episode too. So. It's pretty sick,
Yeah.
man. We're like episode 309 right now. That's pretty sweet.
309.
Yes, sir.
That's not.
309.
Congratulations, man.
Thanks, buddy.
I dig what you're doing. I've been keeping up on all that stuff. Now, quick question to do with that. Can I just go back on here? It's on YouTube,
Yeah.
so can I just repost them on this stream?
I will. Yeah. I will
In the
repost.
comment.
Yep. I will be able to. Yeah, because in the description, I'll be able to put all those links in the description so people can actually go down, and I can.
Right on.
I can. We can make sure we let people know. So if you're listening, folks, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it in the description. So make sure you go back to the description. Anything that he has for sale or his art and his music and anything like that. Because I know you kind of you said you mix the two on Big Cartel, correct? some of your artwork and your
Yeah,
music.
yeah, yeah.
So I know
And
go ahead. Go ahead.
uh, some of these things are limited unless you pay them. So, big cartels like 5 items, but my Shopify has got, I don't even know, maybe 30, 35, from my t-shirts to my paintings to music to my jewelry to whatever. So that's been good. I'm just really, I'm getting a bad thing when I share it and people are texting me saying, is this really you? And do I click on it? It's like, man, I'm just trying to promote like for free as much as I can because,
Right.
you know, it they shun you. They stop your sharings
Yeah.
on
Oh yeah. Social media.
yeah,
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, but you can go to my Instagram, Topper Anthony, and see all the shit because all my shit goes there first. And I also have the 13 Designs and or Apocalypse Decor, Los Angeles, and Psychosis Instagrams. All divided, but usually I don't have time, the energy, and
Ah,
yeah,
you
all,
sound you
all the
sound
shit.
you sound like an old man, bro. Ah, no, I know how it goes, dude. It was funny because when we were trying to put this thing together and get everything together, you were like, "Oh shit! Now you're gonna force me to do what I've been meaning to do for a long time." Fucking saying you didn't want to do it. It's like I hate this part of all of this. This is the dude. I totally agree with you, man. It's like you start these hobbies or you have these things that you really you have a love for and you create these great things to you. You know what I mean? Like I enjoy that part of it. I think that's, the podcast became one of those things for me where I'm like, I want to touch base with everybody and help them push their stuff along. And like, you and I have run into each other through so much time here in the Twin Cities. You know what I mean? Through all the bands, multiple people that we meet, are mutual friends, things like that. So it's just a trip that we get. You did mention it earlier in the podcast. Like we've never sat down and had a beer together. You know what I mean? So that's gonna have to happen,
Yeah.
dude. That's gonna have to happen. Because like you said, you were sober when I was full on alcoholic, fucking drug addict.
Yeah.
So
And now you're sober, and I'm a beeraholic.
now you know what? I actually had some beers 2 weeks ago on Friday.
I
I
think
just had a
I think I've seen that
yeah.
with that podcast.
Yeah.
He's handing them like dude's handing them to
Yep.
Greg.
Yes, he was. He even when I told him
But,
that I hadn't had a drink in 5 months, he was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Dude, that's all good, man. It's not like I." Here's the thing, man. When I hurt my back a year and a half ago or whatever, I didn't have shit going on. I wasn't working. I wasn't doing anything, and I was in a lot of pain. So I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna start tipping them for a while." And I was on even before I hurt my back, I was hitting it pretty hard. Every weekend, I was drinking pretty heavy. At least one night, getting shitty drunk. And then I would, feel like shit on Sunday, go to work on Monday, and it was rinsing me preet for a good 4 or 5 years. And then I was like, and dude, coming out of addiction where, you're doing lots of dope and you're drinking, you know what I mean? Coming out of that, being stone cold sober for a couple of years, and then, dipping your feet back in the water where you're like, yeah, I'll smoke a little bit of weed. I'll have a couple drinks here and there, and I stayed away from the heavy shit. So I was cool with that, man, So when it came to this time, I had a buddy on the podcast and he was going through some shit, and he's since went to treatment. He went to Hazleton. He went to a treatment center. I won't say which one, but he went to treatment, and it was kind of like a support for him while he was there. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed to dry out a little bit. I said, "Fuck it," It ended up being 5 months. It was no big deal. You know what I mean? Like I know that I can drink a little bit. You know what I mean? So I just don't I don't abuse myself like I used to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to that point, we can go into why I haven't played.
Yeah.
And I can blame, I can whatever, I
Yeah.
can puss out. And I'm not drinking like every day. I'm not like it's not like that, but I did not expect to leave 15 and a half years of sobriety off of alcohol anyway, and come to LA and start being a professional beer drinker.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And I'm working on it, and it's, I'm not dead yet. So back to back stuff. I was on vacation at my brother's, bending over in my into my luggage, and I got it too fast or whatever the fuck, and it was warm at first,
Yeah.
but then I took a step back. I called my gal. She was doing morning dishes or making coffee or whatever the fuck, and I cannot fucking move, and I have extreme pain, shooting up and down. Ruined my last day. I couldn't see my mom. Ruined my last day of vacation, and I had to worry about driving maybe, and return the rental car, taking the shuttle to the fucking thing, and taking 2 fucking planes back
Oh,
with this pain, dude. It is the worst. It is
yes.
absolutely the worst. I've slipped 2 discs. I mean, fuck. You look at old Stigma videos, how I was doing that. Yeah, maybe that pertained to that. Maybe that has something to do with that. But technically, it happened when I was just bending over way too arse, too long,
Yeah.
fucking scurrying for a pair of socks or fucking some shit. Dude, it was horrible. And 3 weeks, got back to LA, had needed 3 weeks off, and just in bed, laying on my side with a pillow between my knees and on painkillers. Like,
Oh,
dude. And oh boy.
yeah. Good stuff.
For a certain part, me and my gal, she was a singer of Talea, Carpe Noctem. We did shows, we cut an album, we'll get to that. But during that time, we did some drumming for Wasteland Weekend in the desert.
Yeah.
For, we got the hookers and the body suspension and all this shit. And we were playing drums, just her and I. And I'm not a drummer. I got rhythm, and I got a war drum set. That's what I played in Talea.
Yeah.
Like 2 kicks inverted and 2 toms and cymbals.
Yeah.
Like totally war shit, tribal.
Yeah.
I threw out everything right here in basically both thumbs, and more so up into my one forearm. I could not hold a guitar
Jesus.
pick for like 2 years.
No shit.
And that, dude, and back to that thing, numb it with a lot of beers and do something else.
Right.
But it just, I'm not a pharma guy. Fuck them. I don't do all that shit. I barely take an ibuprofen, dude.
Yeah.
Really. And I just soothed it with a lot of beer, and closed up and did it. And then COVID, and you guys talked about this, like with Daniel Copy, or is it Copy or Copy?
Copy.
Drummer Copy.
Yep.
Yeah, just like, well, COVID changed a bunch of shit, and like, it's been a mean like 7 or 8 years for sure.
For sure.
Just like with
Yeah.
depression, admittedly depression, and just like working. And what I was doing then was like live sampling, and just like recording a shit ton of shit, because I had badass burners and stuff, and that's what I was really into. And just like having beers. My bad. It is what it is. I did what I needed to do to like fucking soothe myself and survive through it. And the back's been okay lately, and well, now I'm trying to handle the beers. But
yeah, you know what, man? My first like real back issue was on First Avenue main stage. I was hunched over that front monitor, man, and I had my legs spread across that monitor, and I jumped up and I popped something in my back, and I couldn't stand up straight for almost a month. And that's when I first took a muscle relaxer, and that was the only thing that could get my back out of spasm for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And then finally something changed, and I was all good. And this last time I herniated discs in my back and my lower back, so I was fucked. And I did 2 injections, and I did all this other shit, and they didn't give me any kind of physical therapy. And then as soon as I did physical therapy, I did some decompression stuff, and it helped me out, and I'm able to walk and able to function. But I ended up selling my motorcycle and all kinds of shit because my back was absolutely jacked. And I hate taking those fucking muscle relaxers, but sometimes, man, I get these knots in my shoulder and my neck from the headbanging and shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like all the whips, you know what I'm saying? So my neck is all jacked up. Car accidents, fucking, you know, fights, all this other shit that I did when I was younger, beating the living shit out of myself.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm there with you, dude.
And it catches up after 35 years.
Yeah,
You better start doing shit to like counteract that, because it's gonna catch up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No matter what.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It's a motherfucker.
So you've been talking a lot about like I had a couple questions. I think you already answered most of them, but what if? Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I'm cracking a beer, so cheers.
No, it's all good, dude.
Carpe Noctem and Skull all at once. What is your musical, your first memory that you have musically? Like, where would you go with that? I mean, I know there's many, but what would you say to that?
What was my what? My
like your dearest favorite memory? Like, oh yeah, that was it.
Well,
like
there's a couple. I have one on the wall back behind me that is the Carcass show that I played. Do I remember that specific show? No, I probably don't remember that specific show, but it was such a high watermark for me as a kid to open up for Carcass. You know what I'm saying? In 96 or 90,
yeah.
94. It says April 11th of 94. It was a Monday. that is one.
Wow.
One, and that was at the Mirage, wasn't it? Yeah, at the Mirage.
I was writing Nakita shit then. I had never even got on stage.
But I think probably one of my all-time, well, I would say there are probably three that of my all-time favorite musical things. One would be the very first time that I played the main stage at First Avenue. I remember getting down on all fours and kissing the floor, and the guys, you know, I used to play barefoot all the time, you know, and the guys were kind, you know, they're laughing at me and asking me like, why the fuck are you, you know, kissing the floor? And I remember telling them, like, there was something about the energy of the room. There was something about the mojo of that room. And I remember saying, dude, fucking look at them walls outside with all them stars and all those famous people, you know. There has to be something there, you know, that some sort of juju that can run off, you know, rub off on me, you know. And I think I remember being on all fours, and that curtain started to go up. And I remember doing the push-up and standing on my feet and being super fucking nervous that you know, this is our first time playing this stage, and we had an amazing crowd. I remember the crowd being really, really big, and the mosh pit being amazing. That was yeah, dude, there are a lot. But that one, the X Fest, playing X Fest and opening that up, winning the Battle of the Bands against some amazing competitors, man. There were so many good bands competing for that particular year, 2000. That was, you know, seeing the crowds go absolutely ape shit with that entire weekend was amazing. We bought tickets for the show because we didn't know if we were going to win it or not. And then we win it, and then the radio station takes care of you. So we pulled up in a white van into our campsite. We put our banner on the side of the van. We got out. We walked around all the campsites trying to sell the tickets that we had. And, you know, we sold our tickets, and we kept telling everybody we're opening the show. And they're like, yeah, fuck you, whatever. And then we play the show. It was amazing. I was just talking to Chewy from 13th Step today, and he was I was telling him about the guy from three doors down, seeing us get off the stage at X Fest and the dude pulling me aside and asking me, you know, where I was from and what label I was signed to, and then taking me directly to his A&R guy that was there at the show, you know, and dude, that whole experience, you know, I mean, I can say there were so many experiences, man. Meeting Sammy from Acid Bath the first time, that was one. Playing one of his songs in front of him, asking him to come on stage with me to sing, and then 28 years later, they're back together as a band. You know what I mean? You know, and meeting him throughout all the years, and talking to him, and you know,
Yeah, they're playing here in
yeah,
August.
yeah,
Acid Bath at the Palladium.
yeah. You gonna go see it?
You know, just real quickly, like I, I'm gonna be embarrassed. I'm not too familiar with them, but my buddy that you know that Zimmergy Brewing
Yeah,
cast you just did,
yeah,
and you played Dead Soul Symphony
yeah.
at the beginning. My buddy Matt did that artwork for that album,
Oh, that's
and,
awesome.
and he's a Wisconsin guy. He's my brother. We're so fucking tight, and he was one of the guitar players in Entropy that tried to get up and like I mean Stigma played many shows
I
with
played
him,
with him.
and we went over to Wisconsin, played
Yeah,
shows with
I
him.
played with Entropy.
Yeah, yeah. Sadly, that that negative vibe, dude, and the you know, it was a really weird thing between that era. Such beautiful fucking music
Yeah.
happening, but I even felt it like Stigma were hated because we weren't heavy enough, or uh, uh, I just got that vibe. And
I never thought that about you
I
guys. I know a lot of people that loved you guys and loved to see you guys play, and you guys played some amazing shows. You did a lot of stuff with Head Charge. You guys got, you know, you got pulled into the circle, dude. You know, I mean, I know Sublevel did a
yeah,
few shows with them guys, but we weren't like, you know, that we weren't tight with those cats. You know, I mean, we all came up together. You know, obviously
yeah,
we're all playing shows together,
yeah,
but you guys were brought, you know, kind of
yeah,
under the wing with Brian being tight with those guys, and you know, I mean, Murray ended up
you know,
knowing a
and
lot of people too. So I mean, you guys knew a lot of people from a lot of different areas of Minneapolis and throughout so many different bands, dude. You know what I mean? I think the amount of people that you had in that band were connected through the network around town so much. I mean, with you from the back, you know, back in the old days, Brian coming in and doing all his thing, and Murray knowing all the people that she knew, you know, Derek and everybody. I mean, Derek came from a small ass town, so that's crazy to, you know,
yeah,
to come and do the things that he did,
yeah.
and you know what I mean. He was a fucking beast, man. Dude was a beast.
Dude, we got thrown in real fast, and shit happened real fast, like unbelievably, and we just had to fucking go for it. You know, it was
Absolutely.
crazy,
Absolutely,
fucking
man.
crazy.
Well, hey, check it out, man.
Um,
We're 2 hours and 20 minutes into this bad boy. We should
shit.
play this last tune. Where can people get your music? Where can people get your artwork? If you want to tell them now, and then I can put everything in the description, and we can get people searching for this stuff, man. Getting you some support, hopefully, you know.
Yeah, we'll see. Unit Psychosis 1 dot Bandcamp. Uh, that's the main thing for the music.
Okay.
Uh, Boy, the Shopify thing, it's all this long ass shit, but
Yeah,
it's
I'll put it in there.
Topper Anthony Works.
Okay.
It's Topper Anthony Works. Whatever / Shopify. Maybe you can find it that way, but you might need the link.
I'll definitely put it in the description.
Yeah. So you're running out of time. So I had a couple more things.
Go ahead.
But
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to express my deal with one of my favorite moments was as well First Avenue.
Okay.
There was a like a low, like a breakdown in one of the Stigma songs, and I'm chunking, and like you said, you're barefoot. That's against the law at First Avenue, and I was barefoot. You know, I had shackles, you know, leather shackles and rings on my ankles, and I was barefoot for our record release party. And I remember, you know, John, 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 and I'm looking down at the stage, and you know it's flat black,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, blip, 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 around my feet, like red dots. I'm like, holy fuck, did I smack my head? You know, am I bleeding? Like whatever. But it was just my sweat coming down around my bare feet, black nail polish around my feet like blood. And it was just the red lights reflecting on my sweat on that flat black surface.
Hell yeah.
That was gold. That was gold. That's it.
What
and
a
that
what a
show I
great
ended
stage, dude.
up scaling off. I ended up scaling off both big toe pads off both feet. Like, and I didn't notice until I got off stage, and they're totally black, but both big toes are red,
Yeah.
like scaled off. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did I do that?
Rocking out,
Anyway.
pushing on the balls of your feet.
Gold,
Hell yeah.
gold shit, dude.
Hell yeah. Dude.
All right.
Well, I think our last.
But anyway, that Daniel Copy.
What's that?
Oh,
Go ahead.
Daniel Copy, I want to say, Daniel Copy, what a monster. I'm just going to say kudos to the Copy. It's just, I always loved his drumming, Section Hate and all the way, whatever the fuck. And he seemed like such a cool dude. I watched the cast, and so I just want to cheers him and say yo.
Dan Copy's a sweetheart, dude. He's a very cool dude, man. He's one of the hardest working dudes in this city. You know what I'm saying? He's doing that Gravesig thing where he's singing, you know, Danzig and Mixture Misfits covers with that thing. He's the singer in that shit, and then he plays the Reaping Asmodea, and he fills in on drums. I know they did that 70 Tons of Metal this year, and he played drums for another band there. I don't remember exactly what band it was, but yeah, Dan's a fucking beast, man, and he works his ass off. He deserves so much, man. He's such a hardworking dude, such a good kid, man. Really good dude.
Yeah, cheers up.
Hell yeah.
Cheers to him.
Hell yeah.
We might have to do this again, because I've got Talea Carpe Noctem stories of my band here and playing LA. It's just like a lot.
Throw some shit out. Throw some shit out, dude. Throw some shit out.
Pull it up, like right now?
Yeah, throw it out.
Fuck. I was showing art in Hollywood. This gal walks up and she's smiling at my barbed wire sculptures, and some of them were tall and like candle holders and mirrors and all that shit. And she's just smiling, and I'm looking at her like, wow. So I said, well, I don't know how she turned around and said, hey, what are you doing? And she said she was an opera singer. We exchanged cards, or she gave me hers or something like that. And thought it'd be cool to like operatic stuff over my sequencing. Maybe we should try that or whatever. Long story short, we end up boom, 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 recording an album in a mansion near Beverly Hills. Well, not mansion, but a sizable house. And you know the cliche of like leaving there or anywhere else, coming to LA, and you preconceive the whole thing and like whatever. But at one point, I'm going to record, and I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm fucking in. I'm going to Beverly Hills. I'm on Sunset Boulevard recording a fucking album right now. What? Like what? Like it's just beautiful times. Beautiful times. We did an album. I'll share it another time or whatever. But Talea Carpe Noctem, and we got a couple of the YouTubes, and it was operatic over my guitars and sequencing.
Do you have that?
Did,
do you
like,
have that stuff together with your other like unit Psychosis and things like that? Do you have a YouTube with that? Do you have a YouTube that people can go to and see those videos at?
I have a couple of YouTubes I could send you. One of them's cut up into parts of a whole show, but it's like snippets, which is fine. But I just got the okay literally within this last week to re-release our album, and I'll print them up, and it really deserves to be out there. It really does. And you know, I do all this printing myself.
Nice.
Covers.
The
Nobody prints on the covers, dude. Nobody prints on the covers. That's
right.
all me since 2008.
Damn.
You know. And anyway, I'm gonna re-release that, and you'll get a link, or I'll share it or whatever. But you know, I came here and we did this, and I really didn't expect to get into that after the whole thing, man. With leaving there and coming here and like literally starting over. But we did it, and we booked like 13 shows, played Hollywood, played LA, played San Diego, or Long Beach. And I actually played my first Unit Psychosis solo set opening for Talea in Long Beach one night. I just threw together like 3 or 4 songs, which is daunting for the first time since forever. In Long Beach in California, you know, it was just, the whole ride has been crazy, dude. But anyway, that's that. You know, we booked our own shows. I loaded and unloaded and set up the stage and sound stage, and I think I just got burnt out. But we did it our way. I showed my art and played a set, and we played the album actually in its entirety, like from start to finish.
Nice.
So ahead of time, if you ever get a Talea Carpe Noctem CD, or you ever order one and you think it's kind of like, well, this could be done, and it's not like really filled out or whatever, that was done purposely because we planned on doing it as we were a 2-piece, and I drummed, she sang, I sang one song, and I did backups, you know, squelching and play guitar. But we did it that way because we were playing the entire album for our live set. So
nice.
there's a reason it sounds like that, and there wasn't any added guitars or any foofy shit that you weren't going to experience live. So we did like 13 shows here.
Nice.
Throughout our time, and it was great.
I saw some
and,
pictures,
you know,
some older pictures of you doing that stuff. I know you posted a few of those.
Yeah. But you know, the funny thing is, like, one guy came up when I was showing art, you got to do this in Brazil. You got to do this in Brazil. And
shit, they'd love
and
it.
The
Down there.
Talea thing, yeah, the Talea thing was, I think I got burnt out, you know. But people would say, dude, you gotta go to Germany. You gotta bring this to Germany because you do real well. And you get kind of dented when you hear some shit and like, well, we're in fucking LA, dude. Like we're, you know, I never paid to play.
Yeah.
I refuse.
Yeah.
So
does that happen? Does that happen a lot there? Does that happen a lot?
You know
there?
what? I've been so far out of the Hollywood scheme that maybe they don't do it now, but yeah.
It used to be.
Yeah, it was that way. And I refuse to play the whiskey. Yeah, it's traditional. Yeah, it's the whiskey, but it's usually with like fucking 20 bands.
Yeah.
Or at least 5 on a weeknight.
Yeah.
It's like, and no pay, and maybe have to sell your own tickets. Like, it just, yeah. So I'm a little Hollywood jaded, and I've been out of that scene for about 9 or 10 years. Just doing my thing. And it's been mainly art because I couldn't fucking play my guitar.
Right.
So, yeah. So anyway, we'll do that another time.
Let's fucking do it, man. Shit. Let's do it. Well, you can get all your stuff squared away as far as like I'm sure you'll have some more archive stuff that you can pull out and show up some more stuff. Yeah, now that you know the process of the podcast too, you kind of know how the format is when you come back on again. You know what I mean? You can have more stuff to show, and you'll probably have, you know, all the tracks and things that you were trying to get online this last week, you know, preparing for this, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just
Yeah.
more preparedness, you know what I mean? I would love to have you back on again, man. This was fun. Chaos in
Yep.
the beginning trying to get this all lined up, but we know we can do it now, and it's not gonna,
Yeah.
fuck with us. So
Yeah. It was just that fucking stupid whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Whatever the fuck we
Yeah.
hooked up.
Hell yeah. All right, so our last song is the Ache song, I believe.
Oh boy. And now the ache of damn. And now the ache of distance.
That's what.
This was check this out. This was gonna
No, go ahead.
gonna be a new this was gonna be a new Stigma song. And I have Derek stories too. Onward where yeah, we were writing and like fuck. A lot of it didn't happen, and actually a couple did happen in in that last Stigma set. But this was one that I was working on my own that I wrote for Stigma, and I was going to sing it and do that, but it didn't happen. And then I just ended up finishing it, and it is what it is. It's just rock. It's hard rock, whatever.
Yeah.
I totally appreciate it. So this is done. You're gonna play that song and it's done.
Yes, sir. I'll play this song and then just hang out for a minute and listen to the tune, and then I'll come back when this is when we're done with this, and I'll chat with you. So
all right.
So thanks for doing this shit, bro. I appreciate it,
dude. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This has been cool, man.
No.
We've got a lot of history in this state together too. You know, we've seen each other around a long time, so it's always cool to be able to touch base, you know, on a deeper level than just shooting text back and forth and playing songs with each other or whatever. You know what I mean? It's always like it's cool to talk about this shit. And you know, man, for the people who would check this one out, you know, there's a lot of history there. There's a lot of things, you know, shit that people probably haven't heard about. You know what I mean? And you still have a lot of artwork. You have a lot of archival stuff laying around. So, you know, that always brings us back for another one. So, you know, a couple months out, we should do another one. Fuck around again and find out.
Fuck yeah.
All right, man. We'll mute that for me. I'll play this tune and then we'll chat for a little bit.
All right. All righty.
Thanks, brother. Have a good night.
Secret. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness.